Okay, so today we will discuss about the quiz packaging system. Maybe Juan will present us uh, the general feature. Then after we can have a Q&A session to share how we use it and maybe learn from how other people are using it. Yeah, thank you, Juan.
Okay, the description of how the packer system works is very short, and I believe everyone here is already familiar with it, but just to recap and be on the same page. Like any small talk, the base image only includes some functionality and not all the functionality you might want to use on your software, and keeping libraries and stuff outside of the main image, maintaining them, the source code outside of the main image, makes it much easier to distribute the work around many people, and enables for code ownership for people for the stuff they are working on. So packages in Cuis, and this is derived from what Squeak used, and it's not too different actually. A package is a piece of code. It can be um, classes with their methods, class definitions with their methods, or methods on their own that will be added to classes when they are loaded. What else should we say? We save packages in source code format in the traditional um, chunk style, with just a little bit of metadata, like a name of a feature that the package provides, and requirements of other packages, and version information, and a description. And that's all essentially. We use, as our packages are stored in source code, we can use any source code versioning system or hosting system to host them. And we use, for most of the stuff, we use Git and GitHub in particular, but any will do. So essentially, that's it.
Two things. One, Bernard mentioned that you know subclassing packages, which is very good for precondition, post-condition kinds of things. And the other is that things have changed a bit recently with the number of directories and when you're doing development where things are stored. And I believe there was a question on the list about you know about packages where they're stored and so forth. And just want to mention what I do when I'm making a new repo is that I'm saving the package when I create it locally, but then I'm moving it to the repo directory, adding it there, and then I'm using the file list to select that package again so that then I get the right update of that, the path name, so that I know I'm updating the code that's in the repo. Just a thought.
Yeah, Quiz doesn't enforce a specific folder layout for your stuff. You can store your packages wherever you want. What we do have is a folder structure for the main Quiz repo, and that's how we suggest people use their Quiz installation. And in the READMEs, in the documentation, there is a suggestion to for a possible folder structure, but that's all up to you. What has changed recently in during this year is that um, Quiz tries not to create new files in the Quiz Smalltalk dev in the main folder. By default, it uses a sibling folder to keep the files you save separated from the repo. And that is useful not to mark the repo dirty, perhaps to have the repo as read-only for some installations, or to share among several developers, that kind of stuff. And this user directory You can configure it. By default, it's a sibling of the Quiz Smalltalk dev directory with whatever directory is hosting Quiz with a suffix user files. But all that is configurable via preferences. It's not rigid, okay? It's just a suggestion. Yeah, Christian.
Is it allowed also to discuss packages in more general?
Yeah, why not?
Why
So
not?
I understand the package system in Squeak and therefore in Cuis, but I'm very unhappy with that
Okay.
because, um, yeah, the question is what should packages be for? So for me, it's a version piece of code for exchange. So basically, it's a transport mechanism for code, and it's versioned so you can really identify specific instances of this packages of the package. Um, in Cuis, of course, it's also used as a compatibility mechanism for packages from Squeak, uh, and probably you can also go back to Squeak. So the question is, how important is that, or how well, kind of the future of packages. So what I'm very unhappy about is the class extensions encoded in the protocols of methods. So you lose the whole functionality of the protocols basically and misuse it in my view, for packaging functionality. The second one is there is no way to store metadata. So you added the required and the provided, which is good, but of course it creates an incompatibility with other dialects. But that's it, right? I think you need much more. You need an open way of annotating whatever information you want. For example, the version should be part of the package. Okay, is it part of the package? No, it's not. Oh, it is. It provides name and the version, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so that is in there, but there is no copyright, there is no author, there is no, okay, author is in the comment up there, yeah. But other information like, um, I don't
If
know.
if if I may, you raised many issues that are all interesting and all should be discussed, but it's very hard to discuss all of them at once.
Yes,
Uh, so the easiest thing to argue with is something that I'm not sure if you said or I think I heard that small to code packages should be portable between dialects. Uh, that could be interesting, but we cannot set that as a realistic goal for the quiz community. Okay, so I would
yeah,
leave that out of the discussion.
yeah. No, that's
Uh,
not
uh,
what I meant and said. I meant it's now used as a compatibility package between Squeak and Quiz.
it's
But,
not.
oh, it's not. Okay.
No, Squid uses Monticello, and Monticello
Ah,
includes the handling of versioning in the system itself. We only mark packages with a version number. We don't do our versioning. We use Git or SVN or Mercurial for that. So that's a big difference with Monticello. Additionally, Monticello
I see.
files are opaque, are not meant to be edited by you directly, but only by the tools, and they are zip files. And quiz are plain text, so you are encouraged to open them with an editor and do whatever you need. So
Okay, I see.
those things are the key differences
So that means
between.
the quiz packages are private to quiz, basically. So you could change whatever you want without uh, taking, I don't know, responsibility for other compatibility issues. stuff.
We are not responsible for compatibility with any other dialect. That
No.
doesn't mean that we don't want to cooperate and are willing to help people uh, work on compatible code. But that's not one of the objectives of Quiz
Yeah.
at all. It's not on the web page, and it was never stated. Quite the contrary.
So is there,
Quiz claims the freedom to break compatibility with anything.
right,
We just need to follow what we think is best as a
perfect.
community.
Yeah. So is there discussion or interest in the development of packages? In other dialects, this tonal makes some progress. I'm not sure if this is the right one, but there are other.
You're muted, Christian. We cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there
I
you are.
understand it yet. Okay. Shit, what did I say? um, oh, yeah, tonal is making some progress in other dialects. So, are there thoughts of maybe, I don't know, going in that direction or trying something completely new, which I would support, or I don't know, or just leave it like this because it's working. So it's all fine too.
Let me, sorry, I know people have their hands up, but let me just break in real quickly. I did do a quick and hacky uh, browser for tonel files that allows you to use the Cuis code browser. You know, just go into, it allows you to go into a file list, open a file, and it rewrites it actually in chunk format, which then the Cuis browser can just open and look at. But it always has always bothered me that the tonel format came out a different incompatible format, but they use the same file suffix .st, and that should not be. It like should be STT or something else that indicates tonel, and having incompatible file formats with the same suffix is nuts. Anyway.
One related problem is that the format is not versioned. So there should be also a version in the format itself, right? So tonel 1, tonel 2, or whatever.
Yeah, there are a number of problems with tonel, but I don't want to get into that.
What I can say is that Tonel is indeed designed and built for interoperability between dialects, and supporting Tonel for interoperability is a great thing to do. Okay, I don't want my previous words to sound more extreme than they are. I really value compatibility, interoperability, and we can use Tonel for that. Yes, that's great. That would be great.
Probably Juan Hillier had his hand up for a long time now.
Yeah, I'm over now.
You're muted.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, sorry. No, I want to say something, but which is completely different. When you mentioned the feature of the package, I'm not sure you mentioned about the system extension.
Well, I mentioned extensions
Okay.
methods.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So no.
That assume that the class will exist in whatever system that is loaded.
Okay. So maybe Ace want to speak?
I think I don't know. I don't know if I want Esther to speak.
Okay. You're not Ace.
Well,
Okay, let's
I will
give
speak.
you a chance.
I will speak nevertheless because
Okay.
why not? I have a feature request, so
You
I
see,
am
that's why
always
I didn't want you to speak.
yes. I know. But I know maybe I can try Mathanative. I don't know. Some what I always I see I am in need of typing whenever I type feature request colon. I would love to be able to just type tab and get an autocomplete of the available packages. Something like that. Is something feasible or it will be too hard?
Who knows?
Yes.
I don't know. If you want that to
Are
happen,
you interested?
someone
are you
will
in
need
the
to work
same
on that.
boat as me? That, or maybe it's just I'm being too lazy.
Mm,
No, I I'm I I can speak
I know
as
you
a
have
as
to prioritize more
no,
important
no,
things.
no, no. The problem I have with speaking is that I speak with two possible hats. One is my personal preference as a developer, and a very different one is what Quiz should support or what would be, yeah, what would be the things that Quiz should provide to users. Okay, with
Yes,
the hat
it
of
can
a
be a bad.
particular developer, I don't see that
It can be
as
a bad.
interesting, but it's my preference and it's irrelevant. Um, but thinking about what Quiz should provide for other, for any user, uh, maybe what you say is valuable. Um, there has been some effort on making a catalog of stuff that is available on the web, package installer. The problem with that kind of things is that you never know, and you to maintain package installer, you are in a way assessing the the eh, quality and availability of those packages that you didn't write and you don't maintain, and you cannot do that. So I
Yes,
don't know what's
yes.
the best way to do
I
that.
will do it at my own peril, of course. And
Systems like Linux distributions have dedicated teams to maintaining catalogs of packages for them. Uh,
there
it,
are
it,
other
it-
languages that also have this idea of packages with, for example, npm for JavaScript, or
cargo for Rust. And
Composer for PHP. And yeah, they have like a registry on the web of the packages, and it's like one place to look for all the packages. I, I think it's a good idea because you're not responsible for what the package has, but it's a good idea for to have them in one place. But yeah, I don't know what if it's really important. What do you think that's really important? I say, why are you asking for that?
for discoverability, basically,
Okay.
to be able to. But well, I can also search on GitHub or whatever. But
Oh, yeah, no, of course. But maybe we could, look at npm, Composer, those kind of things, and see if we can do something similar. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if we have the time to do it, but
yeah. The
yeah,
thing is also that if
yeah,
anybody wants to build that kind of infrastructure and keep it running, yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
Steven, you had your hand raised before for a while and didn't get the chance to speak. Maybe you want to do it, or maybe not. In any case, Christian, you raised several features that you wanted to be implemented in quiz packages. Do you want to go back on some of them one by one so we can discuss or understand better what your needs or your concerns are? Yeah, please.
Um, I don't know. I think it all goes back to the basic features of packages itself. So I would love to speculate how to implement stuff like that or how to do that. There are so many options and all are nice, but we have a very, very simple system. For example, what Ace would probably like would be a description of the package, a comment or something to see before loading, or I don't know, the history of the package, or I don't know, comments of other people, or how compatible is it with version ABC, or I don't know. There's so many things you could annotate. So my favorite, so I don't know, I will not build it, but would be RDF. That means you have a knowledge representation which is very simple, very widespread, extremely powerful, and you can just annotate anything. Um, for example, one
What notation you said? Please, can
RDF
you?
resource description framework. So that's used for metadata for originally web pages. They
Mhm.
present as resources, and they always deal with unique URIs. So they are worldwide unique expressions of things. So if a package would have a URI or a version of a package would have a URI, you could, well, combine it, associate it, or put rules on it, or discover it, stuff like that. Very interesting. So this is the base for example, Wikipedia and OpenStreetMap. So all the information there is basically RDF, so resource description framework. And there are serializations for RDF in for XML, for HTML, for JSON, for I don't know anything. So it's a very common thing in the web world, and it's extremely powerful. It's beautiful actually. It's a little bit like Prolog, where you can state rules which are just applied to the whole knowledge base. It's just beautiful. Anyway, there are other ways. For example, VA does it with classes. Also a good idea. You can add code to it. You can have special code for loading or disposing or whatever packages. VisualWorks does it with dictionaries of properties. Okay, that's not very elegant, but works too. You're very open in whatever you want to annotate. Um, so these kind of things. But of course, this is not a not a simple topic to solve. I don't know. It's probably work, but it's. I just have it very interesting. Find it very interesting to discuss these things, and I don't know, see what the future of that would be. For example, I have a solution for that too, because I'm porting my PDF stuff, which includes RDF, by the way. Um, and I use a class which I call about and then the package name, and I put all the information into methods of the class, mostly class methods. So that's very nice. So all the information I have from VisualWorks, I can transport to Cuis, Greek, Faro, or whatever, and regenerate the information, or nothing is lost, put it that way. Okay, sorry for the monologue.
No, that's great. It would be good to turn those ideas or issues to work on practical actions to be taken. Some of the things you talk about, I haven't read yet about RDF, so I'm not sure. But some of the things that you talked about are infrastructure, and others may mean improving the source code format of packages. Improving the file format for packages is something that needs to be done um, for the whole system. It's base quiz. So we any changes there, we can discuss them and we can make them real if most people think they are a good idea. One of the things that you said is to be able to add extra metadata to packages, and as you speak, I came up with a simple idea that maybe is useful. Right now, packages are done with the idea that they should require as little as possible from the base system. Okay, so that's why for description and version numbers and requirements and that stuff is they are not using something like JSON because I didn't want to require JSON. But it besides those few 3 or 4 fields that are hard coded and looked after by hand in the file, we could have an additional properties or additional information field that is a JSON, and that if it is present, that means that that package to be loaded and analyzed properly will require JSON. of course, the JSON package will not be able to use that format. But that is a way to give more flexibility to the kind of information and metadata you can add to a package without making all the stuff part of the base image. And the things that are more infrastructure, well, we will need to find a way to make them real. Okay, that means servers, people who maintain servers and stuff.
There's also another possible way to be very non-intrusive would be to have a separate file beside the source file or the package file in Git, like a docs whatever file, and then fill it with whatever JSON, RDF, XML, whatever, or just even a little property value file or something. So that wouldn't change anything in the file structure, in the package syntax, or you didn't invent any new syntax. You just add a little piece which need to be separately read and written, but would contain a lot of information maybe.
You mean one single file per repository describing many packages, something like
One
that.
per package. So
One per package,
contain
one per
2 files.
package, but not being part of the package has a problem that the files will diverge, and then you need to sign them digitally to know that they are really referred to each other. And yeah, do we need that kind of thing? Maybe
And
we
then,
do. I don't know.
yeah, and there the idea of a central repository, of course, comes in place because there you can guarantee consistency.
Who manages that?
Yeah.
Is the immediate question. Who has the authority to say, I say what is an official package and what not? Okay, we have the
Author.
quiz. Who?
That's easy. The author.
Well, then that's what we have today, right? Today, any author of code may publish their code in the way they see fit, code that is well maintained and widely used, usually gets its own repo inside the Quiz Smalltalk organization, and that helps a lot discoverability, but still allows each piece of code to have a different owner, and nobody will be the owner of everything. So what we have today in those regards is not too bad. So if we want to build something else, we should understand the need and why it is better. And some people don't even use Git for hosting their code, like Hilera, and that's totally okay too. So Dr. J is not easily discoverable from the Quiz Smalltalk
I
organization
changed
because
it
it's not
recently.
there.
Sorry.
Oh, well, but it's your call, right?
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
call.
Give it a star.
I migrate to GitHub.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I have a question. Bernard mentioned about code package. I don't know what is it. Is it related to the package system? The code package class, I guess. Is it correct, Bernard?
It's the class name. Yes, it's the class name
Yeah.
of the code packages.
Is it part of package? I don't know how.
It is the package.
Okay.
When it is
Yeah.
in the image realized, right?
A long time ago, we added the possibility of defining new subclasses of code packages, and yeah, essentially for those methods, and that's not widely used. I believe that that is used for styled text. Bernard, was for styled text that we did that? I don't remember.
Maybe, I'm not sure. I find it useful. It's modeled after, I would say it's the same concept like in Envy. I would really like that you have one special subclass of code package for your package. You can have your script there, the pre-package install, post-package install, pre-unload, post-unload scripts. You could have metadata there, so the package description could be the class comment of the package subclass. Um, well, but of course doesn't have to be that way, but that I would find it useful.
Yeah,
So
there is
you need
a
to have special handling when loading a package.
exactly.
You need to look. You need to find the subclass first. There only has to be one of those, and then you do the magic. But it's otherwise so for preload and postload, that's very useful.
Yeah, the problem is preload, right? Because you cannot run the preload code without loading that class. So that's what makes it special. Post load, it's easy. It's like all
Right.
the initialize class methods are already called automatically or semi-automatically. Semi-automatically because what when we save a package, we save a do it for that. So yeah, it works and it has served you well, and it's been there for a very long time.
So it is part of the package system.
Yeah,
It's usable right now.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know about that.
yeah. I'm not crazy about it because it makes loading packages a bit more complicated than the absolute minimum. But it hasn't given problems either. So
So
Uh,
as oh sorry, please go on.
no, it's okay. I was just going to parenthetical comment that I've used things like the prepackaged load in cases where I'm doing like experimental code and it's going to override a system method. And I say, do you want to go ahead and do this because it's going to override this method, or just not load the package? Or in some cases, it's here be dragons at the end. The post package says, by the way, you've loaded something that's experimental. Here be dragons. All bets are off. Just to let you know that this is not something that is totally reliable or something. So I use it very rarely, but I do find that preload and postload are very handy for packages.
okay,
I think the Unicode TrueType package uses that for checking. Anyway,
okay. And what you point to is one of the big problems of having a centralized uh, list catalog or whatever of packages. That is, right now, if nobody says anything, then everything is used at your own risk. Okay,
Mhm.
and if you want to mix and match packages that the authors didn't think they could be used together, then again, it's you who are doing that. But that's very different than from a Linux distribution where you are expected expecting to be able to install whatever you want and everything will work well with everything, and they invest the effort to make that work, and it's not trivial.
No.
uh, and we are a small community, so there is only so many things that we can get done, so we prioritize.
Okay. Maybe we can discuss about the stable on the current release of Quiz on the how to manage the package depending on the type of release, stable or current.
Yeah, I believe that what was talked about that is that when we do a stable release, we should tag the commit for packages that are known to work with it, and that the rolling release should always use the latest version of
Mm.
any packages, is what makes sense. And for stable release to use tags. Um, we need to start doing that. We need to make that happen and see how it works. Um, I don't know if at this point there's much else to discuss, but go ahead. I don't know.
Yeah. For example, with Dr. Joe right now, I'm using the current release, so
The
the
rolling release.
rolling release.
Rolling means that it's rolling
Yeah,
all
I
the
know.
time.
Yeah, I know. It's changing all the time. So
Yeah.
I switched to current. I don't know why. I don't know. I have some reason.
Stable.
I don't.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah,
the words, those words are important so we understand each other.
stable.
We have rolling and stable.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
stable doesn't roll. It's
Yeah.
just stable.
Yeah. I know. But I move on with the rolling release. Um, why? There is some. Yeah, maybe there was some change that were part of rolling release, and I think I need it or something like that. I mean, this is something that has to do with maybe Erudit or some change because you have this change on the menu. So yeah, if I stick to the stable one, um, maybe I will the package like Reddit. They have evolved. So I lose the track. So I decide to move to the rolling release because I think it was easier at this point. But now, for example, I want to make a release of Dr. Geo. So I should make a tag on the I should make a tag on the Dr. Geo current commit to match the quiz version I'm using.
If you are using the rolling release,
But I have some problem because this is a rolling release.
yeah, exactly, and
Yeah.
that is okay because the stable releases are something that is rather new, and we are still discussing how to handle packages. So we are learning as we go.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, it makes a lot of sense to keep Dr. J on the rolling release for some time. I think going to a stable release may help you when our process is better understood and stable, hopefully during this year. I don't know. Um, and
So what I was thinking is that okay, maybe for this release of Dr. Joe, it will be difficult to tag my my repository with any quiz version, but with the next release of stable of quiz, I can make a new release of
yeah,
Dr. Geo. Then at this time I will make a branch matching the quiz version,
a branch of what?
a branch of Dr. Geo.
Okay, yeah.
So
Yes, of course. Yes.
whenever I need to make some change to this to this branch, I can do it. I can use a tag also. This is an option. But if I use a tag, this means okay, you can go back in the past, but you can't make. Okay, maybe you can make a change from that point also. Yeah, maybe.
If you are going to maintain that version, that release version of Dr. Shio, in case there is some serious problem, I think the reasonable alternatives are to create a different repository for it or to use a branch. Um, a tag will not help you because the minute you add you do a change there that is different that what you are doing in the tip of the repo, you actually have a branch, even if Git knows about it or not. So it's better to be explicit, I think. You're muted, I think.
I don't know very well GitHub, but if you make a tag and later on you decide that from this tag you want to make a branch, I guess this is something that it is possible.
Yeah, should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, you don't need to exactly. So I can just
You
start with
don't
the
need
tag.
to branch at the start. You branch when you need it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe. Yeah, we are on a learning process anyway. So to see how we can manage that with the few resources we have.
Yes. Bernard, you asked about what stable means. This again, this is something that we will build as a community, right? I don't claim to have all the answers or everything written in stone, but my idea is that a stable release will only change if there are critical bugs. Okay, because for a bug that is not critical, you can argue whether it is a bug or an enhancement, and then if it's an enhancement, it should be done in the rolling release. But if it is a bug, it should be done in the stable release too. I think it only makes sense to fix critical bugs that will benefit anybody using the stable release. And besides, when we post a change to the stable release, we are disrupting the development process of anybody using it. Okay, so we should not bother them for no reason. That's what the rolling release is for. That changes all the time, and it's okay. So, if, for instance, if Hiller has a released version of Dr. Chio working and widely distributed, and then he needs to do something to that version because he found some problem, when he does that, he should update his stable release to whatever critical fixes are there. They should be very little, very few of them, because any change there will break his process, and his objective is to fix Dr. Geo, not to fight with Cuis at that point. That's why he chose the stable release. So that's my idea so far. Changes to stable release should be absolutely critical. Yeah.
So B.
So one thought on this is, one likes a stable release means a stable standpoint. It would be good at the time that stable release is created to, at least for the packages that have been tested and assumed to work in the Cuis repository, Cuis Smalltalk, not, all the subdirectories there, all repos there, to be able to capture the tag, or tag them, or, capture those Git versions at the time of that stable release, so that anybody that goes forward and finds a problem in a package that they're loading into the stable release can start at that branch point, start a branch at that point, so that anyone else sees only the fixes for the package on that branch associated with that particular stable release.
Yeah, I totally agree
Does that
with
make
that.
sense?
Yeah, we need to do exactly that. Um, it's not exactly at the same time that we publish the stable release. It's a process that maybe takes a week or two, starting there. Okay, because all packages need to be reviewed. So in order to do that, the stable release must be there first. So it should be a small window to do that for packages before packages start evolving following the rolling release, right? We need a window of stability for packages there in order to tag them reasonably well. Yeah.
But in the other hand, this package will be following the rolling release, which at some point will become the stable release. So they will be
Yes.
mostly compatible.
They should
Should
be,
be if
except for
they
very
change.
late
Yeah,
minute
yeah.
changes to the stable release. But you are right. Yes, yes. If
So
they
it should
have been following the rolling release, they should be good enough. Yeah.
so it should not be a huge effort for the packager maintainer.
Shouldn't be a huge effort, and shouldn't need lots of time. Perhaps 1 week is more than enough to give people time to find a couple of hours in their
So
schedule to review their
maybe
packages.
one thing that will be useful for the packager, the people that that are maintaining packages will be kind of a common written rules how to do that, or some how to simple things like that, at least to make the tag. And yeah, what kind
Yeah,
of tag using? Is it 6.2, 6 underscore 2, or how to
yeah,
name the tag properly, so that
yeah,
if someone want to fetch a previous version, you don't need to search for tags.
yeah. We need to do that. We need the stable release should be out soon. I'm having a bit complicated weeks lately, so I could not make it by the end of last month. That was my original intention and what I claimed I would be doing in the documentation. But the minute the stable release is out, we should pick some package as guinea pig, some repo actually as guinea pig, and then suggest, discuss, and do it for one repo and see how it goes, and then everybody will follow. Yeah,
Okay.
something like
So
that.
when are you planning the next stable release?
It should have been out 5 days ago. It will be out before the end of this month, maybe in a week or
The
so.
the code is already frozen, or is it will be
No,
from the last code, the last
I'm
changes?
pushing a crazy amount of
Okay, so
stuff to
okay,
have every day. If you check it,
yeah,
uh, yeah,
absolutely.
I, yeah, I'm working on the menus and shortcuts for tools, and I think it will be a good improvement. But yeah, it's been a bit bumpy,
you
a
you
bumpy
you don't
road.
want to keep this for the rolling release, because it can be dangerous to put it on rush on the stable. I don't know, just a question.
Well, right now, what is in the rolling release today is compatible. Back compatible. If I push the changes for browser to stop using dynamic menu builder, that breaks compatibility. So perhaps that should not go into the stable release. Yeah, I need to review that. Yeah, sorry, I've been a bit sloppy on that front, not careful enough. Yeah, yeah. Let me check that today or tomorrow. Yeah. That may mean that the stable release is not done with the latest update that is there today. Okay, and that that is an inconvenience, to put it mildly. Yeah,
There is
I
there
was
is possible. Oh,
thinking.
sorry. There is possibly things to learn from the Debian communities with the managing of packaging and the different phase they have before they release the stable version of the system. They have some period of freezing when there is likely things to learn from how what they are doing is
I,
very complex and it involves a lot of people, but they have a lot
yeah.
of interesting experience.
I haven't looked at Debian in particular, but the release process that I sketched last year um, is based on Red Hat.
Mm.
So maybe it's similar in some way, but the Red Hat process is too complex for us, and they have a great process, and that lets them give a high level of quality of everything they deliver, but that is too expensive for us with more stabilization phases and more people checking that stuff work correctly. And yeah, I choose to do something inspired by Red Hat but simpler. Um, we can add extra steps and extra complexity if we think it's worth it. It's those are things to be discussed in the community.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
our
not.
decision. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to sort out the package version. That's what we
Yes,
need for now.
that's the next step. Yes,
Yeah.
and that should be reasonably stable in no more than 1 month from now or something like that, right? And we will have a process that can be repeated each time, and then we will be able to evaluate if it's good enough or we need something better or more complex, more sophisticated.
Bernard has a suggestion on the chat, on the discussion. How about using Quiz 7.0 as branch name?
As branch name or as tag name?
Both. Can start with a tag and then create the branch.
Yeah, makes sense.
If necessary.
Yeah.
You can have dots in the branch name. I just checked, so
That's good.
I find that nicer is 7-0. So why is the stable release 7.0 and not 6.4 or something?
Because we removed support for V3 images, and I unified a character and Unicode code point into a single immediate character class, and that is a disruptive enough change that I thought it was a good idea to use a different measure number. Yeah. Actually,
the
the
next
reason
stable release could be Cuis 7.1, probably.
no, it would be 7.2 because a convention I adopted is that odd numbers are for the rolling and even numbers are for the stable. So they never share the number. So you just look at the number and you know if it's stable or rolling. And that is something that I think helps avoid confusion. So the next table should be 7.2 and after that 7.4 until we do something that is measured enough to think of calling it 8. Yeah. Actually, the reason for removing support for V3 was to be able to unify the characters. Okay. The old Quick system used a table of characters. So the way to guarantee that there was only one instance of character A was that when you ask for a character A, it will go to the table, a bit like symbol, and give you that instance. And that works perfectly fine if you only have 8-bit characters. But if you have Unicode, you cannot have a table that big, and the Spur memory format supports immediate characters with Unicode range, but not in the 32-bit B3 format. So at some point, I thought it was better to ditch the B3 format and take advantage of this new VM and image format functionality. Yeah. That was done in January, I believe, and no one even noticed, and that's a good thing. It means there was no breakage, and that was compatible. So now you don't need to care about having two different character classes, and what does that mean?
So let me understand one possibility here, which is that if we just today took and marked all of the presumably okay packages in the Cuis Smalltalk set of repos with the 7.0 tag, and then agreed that if anything was broken in the 7-0 stable, then that, and for those packages, we'd go ahead and fix them as
in a branch.
right, in a branch, and do the same fix, of course, in current. And then that gets us staged. So for the 7.2 to continue that process, and just to make sure that when we go to 7.2 that we're not breaking something back that would typically be loaded in 7.0. Just a thought.
Yeah, I think we just described what we want to do.
Right. I'm just saying that today we could just go to you go to Git and mark those
We
packages.
we can start today, even though 7/0 is not there.
We have
You can
7
start
hyphen O
today.
stable.
Sorry.
We have 7 hyphen open O stable. Cuis 7 hyphen O exists.
Yeah. Hmm.
You're about to make a significant change that bumps it to 7.2. I just possibility. I know it's a bit of work.
So you say that what is already there at 7 dash O should be 7-0, and that's it.
Right. I'm just saying that if the packages were marked today 7.0, Cuis 7.0, just put the mark, just put the tag on all the repos in the GitHub under Cuis
Yeah.
Smalltalk.
But
Then
you are saying something else. You are saying that I should not do an update to the 7-0 repo.
right,
And I was
that's
thinking
what
about
stable
doing that.
means. Yeah, right.
So if you suggest that, please let me first check the status of the 7-0 repo, because I created it with the idea of updating it later. That's why it was never announced. It was just an kind of an experiment on building 7-0.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that wasn't the intent to be released. Okay, now if hey, if that's an experiment,
Yeah,
fine, delete it. No worries. I'm fine with that. I was assuming that we were trying to make that completely real at this point. And if we don't need to, hey, I'm a big fan of trimming bureaucracy. We need bureaucracy to keep the wheels spinning, but we want to minimize the bureaucracy and make sure that everything carries its own weight. If it's too expensive, we don't want it. Do without it. So great.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. Are we good? Are we good?
Okay. I think this was helpful. It was helpful to me anyway.
Yeah, and it's helpful for making decisions. So that's very important. We want to make good decisions, and discussion helps a lot. Yeah. Ezequiel, you commented about the possibility of automating the testing of the
Yeah,
loading of
yes.
packages.
You talk
And
about manual testing, and maybe some of those could be automated in a
yes,
pipeline or something. Maybe.
yes. Are you volunteering?
Yes.
Because that's the thing with infrastructure. We can improve our infrastructure with if someone essentially if someone volunteers to make it happen. Right now, when we push any update to the main Quiz Smalltalk dev repo, it loads the base image test package and runs all of them and reflects on GitHub whether that passed or not. And that is there only because some folks did it. Okay, and it wasn't me, fortunately. So if people want to help the infrastructure, that will make it better.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. to at least check that the package can load without error. Yeah.
Yep.
I
Indeed.
was last week. I started to look at the action on the quiz small talk. On GitHub about
Yep.
what you mentioned, automatic to check at each push.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
I want to do something for Dr. Geo to build Dr. Geo, and Dr. Geo is using different repository on GitHub. So yeah, it can look similar to check for packages and check how they can load or if there is issues. So, but
Yep.
okay, I give up on the ID so far. But yeah, this is something that will be interesting to look at. I don't know, Hiz, if you want to look at this. Yeah. So I was surprised that GitHub they can offer the resources to let you check on with a virtual machine.
They
Um,
have to with GitLab and other vendors.
uh, Sorry?
They have to compete with GitLab and other similar services. So
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and we're using that, right?
Yeah, you're
On
as
every push.
yeah. I look at what was done on Quiz. Yeah, it doesn't look very complicated. I mean, you just need to sit down to read the documentation and make some try.
And one bit of data that may be useful, our integration test on GitHub are running today on Linux and Mac, and on Linux they take 1 minute, and on Mac they take 10 minutes. And I
Yeah,
have no clue why. Most likely
yeah,
it's because of the kind of VM that GitHub gives you. So if you are limited to Linux, most likely your experience will be smoother.
yeah, yeah,
And we don't have it for Windows yet.
yeah.
Nobody managed to make that work so far.
Okay,
I'm not saying
but I
it's
think
impossible or hard, but
they offer virtual machine with Windows. I think do
I don't
they?
know.
You don't know?
I don't know. Well, they are from Microsoft. GitHub is from Microsoft, right?
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
should be the
It
default
should be.
VM they offer you, the one that runs the best. I don't know.
Nice Linux. Yeah, the reason why Linux is faster, I think, very likely, because I got that kind of feedback as well, is because the system is completely free. It's much more easy to customize the system. When you
Yeah,
are
and maybe they
using
use custom
proprietary
builds.
systems, when you are using proprietary system like Mac OS or Windows, there is some knowledge that they are not shared by the vendor to the
Yeah,
customer. So you have some limitation on what you can do.
yeah.
We have
Most
that
likely they.
we have
maybe
this
they are not full
situation
VMs.
in Geneva where we are using Windows, Linux, and Mac OS systems, and we have a team working on the for the deployment of the system. Each each school years we deploy again the systems, and the Linux team for them is the job is much more is easier.
Yeah.
There's another interesting thing that Microsoft tends to do, which is to tilt the playing field a bit. So for example, when Sun was going and running their Java stuff, they would run a set of benchmarks, and the Windows VM was faster because the Windows Microsoft basically had a terminate and stay resident. They would preload the caches. So when you were running the Sun VM, you were faulting in all the pages and then running the benchmarks. Where in the Windows system, they had all the pages in memory, so you were just running the benchmarks without all the pre-cache fills,
Okay.
and that made a big enough difference to do it. And so Microsoft does a lot of really interesting things under the covers, particularly to favor their own software implementations. I think. Just yes, yes, fun stuff. Well, great seeing you all. Depart in radiant contentment.
Okay. So do we finish the meeting?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
all
thank
for
you
being
for
here.
the discussion, and have a nice time.